How can you be a better impromptu speaker? Well, there are many ways you can practice, but my favorite is the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule is how can you get 20% of the effort in to get 80% of the value when it comes to improving your speaking skills? And there are three key components of the 80-20. And if you can master all three of these, I promise you, you will speak like a pro. The first element of this is emotional gift. Optimize for your audience's emotional gift. Optimize for your audience's emotional gift. That means that whether it's an interview, a speech, an executive update, a presentation, your primary goal is to make your audience feel the way you want them to feel after you've spoken. So whether that's confidence, excitement, shame, FOMO, notice what happens. Your sole goal is to convey that emotion. That's your North Star. That dictates your tone. That dictates your body language. That dictates your pace. That dictates even the words you say. And what happens? Your audience reciprocates that emotion. That's how powerful it is when you can speak with an emotional goal. That's your North Star. But if you don't do this, you might come off with a monotone like this and no one will really connect with you. So that's the first part. Optimize for this, the rest will follow. The second thing you do is you slow down. Now, that seems obvious, but let me explain. Let's say that you were given a question that you know the answer to, but you start jumping in right away and you say filler words. Oh, yeah, so I think that, and then you ramble your way until you finally arrive at the answer. 2 minutes in, and by then, your audience is completely bored. So how do you avoid this? We slow down. We do three things. Number one, we pause. And we pause for at least 3 seconds. And we look up. We don't look down because looking up indicates that we're being thoughtful with our words. But looking down shows that we're not as confident in what we're about to say. So when you do this, you pause. You're thinking, what is my bottom line up front? What is the one sentence answer that encapsulates my core point? And that's called bluff, bottom line up front. Think, what is your bottom line up front during your pause? The second thing you can do is actively listen. So actively listening is crucial. This means that you're paraphrasing what the questioner had asked. Okay? So if they give you a question, you can pause and say, I want to make sure I'm understanding this right. Are you saying X? And X is a one-sentence paraphrase of what they said. And then they can either correct you, they can expand on what they said, but either way, you're going to ask for clarification until they have confirmed that you have understood their question correctly. Only then can you answer. And look what happens. You're buying yourself time to think through your bottom line up front as you're asking those questions. That's slowing down. The third way that you slow down is you play the narration game. The narration game is simple. It's identifying the right pace at which you can speak in a comfortable way without being scripted. And so how you do this is by you pick out any object that's in front of you, and your goal is to tell your hypothetical audience what you see so that they can visualize it. So here's how it works. Let's say I wanted to narrate this black marker. I could say, this is a black marker. It has a black cap, it's got a white body, and it's got text on it that says whiteboard in red lettering with a gold trim. And I bought this to specifically diagram and draw key public speaking concepts on this whiteboard with a black border that costs about $60 on Amazon. That is a comfortable pace. Notice what happens. My goal as I'm narrating this is to continuously talk. Minimal stoppages in between my sentence. Just flow. Just say whatever words come to your mind. It doesn't matter if it even makes sense. All that matters is that you're identifying a comfortable, nice, slower pace. And when you're thinking through what words you need to say, you'll notice you'll start to slow down. Internalize that pace. Practice that every single day. Okay, now that you've paused and that you've actively listened and that you've played the narration game, there's one final piece of the 80-20. Okay, and it's a very simple framework that you use to structure your response. It's called PREP. Now, many of you have heard of this. Many of you have heard me talk about this before. It stands for point, reason, example, point. And you can use this particularly when you are asked a question or you're asked to give an update. It's a one-line answer. The point, the bottom line, how do you answer the question directly? This is a one-line reason why this is your point. An example, which can either be an anecdote, a short story, or a data point, activating both the left and right side of your audience's brain, the logical and the emotional side, to persuade them. And then you wrap it up with a point, a one-line recap of your main point. Now, if you can follow this framework to speaking, I promise you that you'll be able to structure your responses and not be wondering, searching for words that you could even say. So let me give you an example of how this might work. Let's say that I were on an enablement team trying to give my onboarding plan to my sales leadership team. And the goal is I want them to implement my onboarding plan for that particular group of new hires. So I might say to my prospective sales leader, I'm really excited to share this new onboarding plan with you. The reason why I'm excited is because we have an opportunity to improve our onboarding process and eliminate the extra 3 months it takes to train employees as we do today. An example of why this is so important is that we had one particular new rep who struggled to get onboarded. She was running through the same materials over and over again, and it wasn't until she was 7 months in when she closed her first deal, and that's not acceptable. So I'd love for you to observe what we have to share with our onboarding plan and give us any questions and feedback so that we can make it better the next time. You see, I walk through each part of the plan. You can do the same. It gets a lot of reps, just a lot of reps. Force yourself to use frameworks when you speak, even if it's an innocuous question in a networking event, right? It might be, oh, what brought you to this event? And you might say, well, I came to this event to meet new people. The reason why is I literally don't have any friends in this city. I just moved here 3 months ago. An example of how I feel this way is simply whenever I wake up and I go out to work, I literally can't find anybody to connect with, and I'm really looking for friends. And that's why I desperately need to meet people at this event. Totally made it up. It doesn't matter. The point is you want to force yourself to fit your speaking into a framework, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it doesn't feel natural, because the more you do it, the more it becomes ingrained in you. And then eventually you'll start speaking in prep in ways that you don't even realize. So if you can follow, again, the emotional gift, slowly speaking and following a framework as you speak, one of my favorites being prep, but there are many others, then you will become a way better impromptu speaker. Give that a try. Let me know what you think.